So as we all know it, college football is officially over. The regular season is over. We have our conference champions, but most importantly, Colorado football season is over. Now, as we all know, it did not go as expected. They were only able to win 4 games, and they ended on a 6-game losing streak. Now, we all know how their story season began. They won their first 3 games against a bad TCU, a bad Nebraska, and a Colorado State. And then everybody all of a sudden thought that this team was going to be very, very good. When in reality, if you know football, you still knew that this team was going to struggle. They only won 1 game last year. And even though I feel like Deion Sanders is one hell of a coach, even though some people may disagree, I still think he did an amazing job for his first year with Colorado. Now, after that devastating loss to Stanford, they went on to play UCLA. Now, UCLA is not a powerful, overpowered Pac-12 team. They're more of the middle of the pack type of team. But they went into that game, and they actually did not get blown out like I low-key expected. Throughout the first 3 quarters, they only gave up 14 points on defense, with Travis Hunter catching 2 picks in that game, 2 amazing picks. But there was a big problem. They were not able to score. Now, we all know Sheduer Sanders is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. A lot of people say he's going to be a first-round pick. I think he's a little bit overrated, but that's another topic for another video. If you want to see that, make sure you subscribe. But he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. There's no denying that. But I don't know if any of y'all know this about football. The O-line is the most important thing to the offense, because if your O-line isn't blocking, you can't run or you can't pass. It doesn't matter if you have Tom Brady back there. It doesn't matter if you have Julio Jones lined up for you at receiver. If you're not blocking, you're not going to be able to move the ball consistently enough for you to be able to put up points against defenses. And this was a prime example of what happened in that Colorado game. And this became a huge talking point around the Colorado football team. They had all the weapons, they had the defense, they had everything they needed, but they couldn't block to save their life. So Deion Sanders was asked about it after the football game, and then he said this.
In terms of the big picture, trying to keep Sheduer upright, healthy.
The big picture, you go get new linemen. That's the picture, and I'm going to paint it perfectly.
And this is my take on that. That is a cardinal sin. Why would you go to the reporters and tell them that you need new linemen? What do you think your current linemen are going to think about you? Okay, I get it. This is a long-term rebuild. Maybe those dudes that are here with you now aren't going to be with you later, but it's like you are in the middle of a season and you're throwing your linemen under the bus to millions of people. The first half of Colorado games were some of the most watched football games the whole season. Colorado versus TCU, Colorado versus Oregon. These were some of the most watched football games of the whole entire season. So when you say stuff like that, millions of people are going to see that. How do you think the linemen are going to feel when they see nonsense like that? You got your own coach throwing you under the bus. So that kind of leads to my theory. I think the Buffaloes started sabotaging Deion Sanders and Sheduer Sanders for the rest of the year. Now, hear me out. First things first, Sheduer Sanders is a millionaire. If you don't know, these dudes are getting paid. Sheduer Sanders is getting paid millions of dollars. It is not just because of how good at football he is. It's also because he's Deion Sanders' son. You saw Sheduer Sanders' face everywhere this season, and that's just because he is that marketable. This man has become a millionaire in the past year off of his name alone. The O-linemen aren't getting that same treatment, which is usual for regular O-linemen, but it's like, this is like on a different level. These are small school guys. These are former group of 5 players, so it's kind of like weird, like, you know, now you already a daddy's boy because your daddy's the head coach. You can't do no wrong. Plus you a millionaire. You getting all the spotlight while we get the blame for while we the ones losing because of you. Now, boom, that ain't it. There has to be times where we've seen something like this before. Maybe like a Caleb Williams situation, but that's kind of, I don't know. But my thing is that football is a brotherhood. You guys come in as freshmen, y'all develop together, y'all grow together, y'all get cussed out together, y'all work out together, y'all struggle together. Football is such a brothership. Y'all come in as freshmen and y'all go through that together. These dudes are not brothers, bro. They haven't even met a year ago. Colorado, this whole team is full of transfers. These dudes have not even known each other for a full year. Jealousy is a real thing. Even though some people don't like to admit it, jealousy is a real thing, and they could see jealousy in that. Just put yourself in the lineman's shoes. Imagine you are a lineman for Colorado. The quarterback is the daddy's boy. You are sitting there, you're getting all the blame, and you haven't even known this dude for a year yet. He's the talk of the country. He's this, he's that, and you're getting all the blame for why they're not good. People are pointing the finger at you because the coach called you out. Do you think Deion would ever call out Sheduer for having a bad game? Because he's had times where he held the ball too long. He's not a perfect quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. I don't want anybody to think Sheduer Sanders is perfect because of the image that they've portrayed out there in Colorado. He is nowhere near perfect. But have you ever heard Deion Sanders try and call him out? Maybe he doesn't in private, but that's what you're supposed to do with everybody. You don't call out Sheduer Sanders in private and then not call out your O-line in private. You tell reporters that. So I feel like that kind of messed with the O-lineman's head. They kind of messed with their mental. That's not something easy to go with, especially with a figure like Deion Sanders. The people love Deion Sanders, and it makes sense. He's one of the greatest cornerbacks in NFL history. He's probably one of the best coaches out right now when it comes to a recruiting standpoint and when it comes to a player standpoint. I don't know how good he is when it comes to the football aspect on the field, but when it comes to the other things that matter in coaching, Deion Sanders is one of the best. And you got him telling the reporters that your O-linemen suck. That's basically what you're saying when you need new O-linemen. You're not supposed to do that. It don't matter who you are. And then what did he think doing that was going to do for the team? For this season currently, I know it's a long-term rebuild. You don't rebuild a team in 1 week. After these comments, they went out and they played a very solid Oregon State team. They were ranked about 17th in the country. I'm not sure, don't take my word for that, but they were a solid team. And they were able to put up 19 points, but they ran for -7 rushing yards. -7 rushing yards. Where do they do that at? Now, that includes sacks, so check this out. They ran for a total of 31 rushing yards. That's how much they ran for, but Sheduer got sacked 4 times and had -37 yards. -37 yards. What type of sense does that make? That is not a Power 5 football team. But do you really think it helped that Colorado, that Deion Sanders came out and said that we need new linemen? Do you think that helped the issue at all? Now, I am exaggerating a little bit. I'm not gonna say that they sabotaged this man in spite of him. But what I will say is I feel like that they quit on this man, which I think is very true. It's very possible. It's very common to quit on your teammates. It doesn't matter who it is. So I don't think he sabotaged them in spite. I think they kind of quit on him. And I wanted to kind of back this up because Sheduer Sanders, he didn't play the last game, and they had 49 rushing yards in that game. But, 49 still ain't very good, but it is kind of better than what they had versus Oregon State, which was abysmal football. Now, Colorado, they did just sign a 5-star O-lineman. Deion Sanders is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He's getting linemen. So hopefully we can see a better Colorado product. But I think the way that this program dealt with the O-line being poor, they dealt with that very poorly. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you enjoy content like this, make sure you join the family. Make sure you subscribe. We're building a community around here. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for watching, man. I'm out. Peace.